Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild and Wingless. This is going to be a pretty long one. You guys haven't heard from me for a while, but I've decided I'm going to do a wrap up of what I saw from the SummerSlam series at Victorian Wingless, as well as a few races we just had on the weekend. So stay tuned, don't want to miss this one. Okay, so I had the privilege of tagging along with the Victorian Wingless for the 2025 SummerSlam series. I really do appreciate everyone, invited me down. Sean, Fitzpatrick, Andy, and Glenn. It was great to come down and see how you guys ran that series and be a part of the media side of it. For you guys sitting at home, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope I was able to reach out and show you guys a bit of behind the scenes stuff, or at least keep you a bit connected with what was happening on the deal to deal of the base of the series. So the SummerSlam series, man, wow, what an incredible series! Like hats off to Victorian Wingless, to the competitors, to the series partners. Just Bailey's Welding. We had Ty Bill Race Parts. We also had Mark Benton from Farm Machineries Repairs, as well as Milwaukee Power Tools. Just it was awesome. So the tracks as well, the track promoters, Lang Speedway, Borderline Speedway, Simpson Speedway, as well as Premier Speedway. It was just a huge event over 4 nights, 72 drivers nominated. Um, it was going to be action packed. You got 72 drivers with their, thinking outside the box as far as how can they get the leg up on the competition with 72 different egos and all the rest that everyone was coming in there to win. And it was just such an awesome series to be a part of. Now that I've been to these tracks, I'm going to go ahead and say it was arguably 4 of the best wingless tracks you could put on in the country. I was just amazed by it all. First I got to thank you very much to Wingless, Victorian Wingless Club for the invitation to come down. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So we'll start off with Lang. How cool is Lang? Man, I've never been there before. I heard so much about it from the likes of Todd Hobson and Christopher Temby and stuff like that. Gary Fitzpatrick was very vocal about how great a track it was. And that thing just lived up to the hype. It was just incredible. When we were there, it was a very tight bull ring. And I remember walking over to the fence, and at first, without seeing a car on it, I'm sort of sitting there thinking, okay, it's a bit tight, but how's this going to work? They sent out the first heat, and they did like a little hot laps deal. And that's when I saw actually how big this track was. And man, it was insane. You could just see what was going to happen. The everyone that looks after the track there, they sort of, it was like I don't know how you say it. It was like they knew the track where it was going for the drivers. They fluffed it up. They did what they needed to do on the bottom to keep the high side working, and it was 2-lane track. I thought it was fantastic. It was great to watch. I did hear a few things from people saying, like, it was probably the wrong track to choose for this sort of event. Passing was hard, that sort of stuff. All I'm going to say is, if passing was hard at Lang, go speak to the VX62 of Brad Warren. Go speak to the VX89 of Christopher Tempe, because those boys were passing people. And they'll pass them without hitting people. So those dudes put on an absolute show. And, man, night one, I was eager with what was going to be coming for the next 3 nights. So the heat winners, obviously with the V4 of Carly Walsh. Hats off to her. The NT5 of Daniel Goldoni. The V93 of Travis Miller. The S11 of Tyson Martin. The V52 Scott Irons. The VX17 of Cameron O'Brien. The S86 of Kirby Hellier, the S36 of Hayden Vickers, the V76 of Luke Johnson, the N16 Andrew Sayer, the S80 of Bradley Vaughan, and rounding out the final heat winner was the V27 of Shaw. Now, the reason why I'm talking these winners, I'm going to be naming them all, because for me, you had 12 heats. Mate, to win these heats was hard enough. So, hats off to these guys, and they deserve to be recognised for their efforts. Now, this night was the night where we had a C Main 1 and 2. This was the only night we had C Main 1 and 2. C Main 1 was won by the V7 of Nicholas Ryan. The C Main 2 was won by VX4 of Jaden Locke. Now the B Main 1 went to the VX89 of Christopher Temby. And the B Main 2 went to the Q79 of Bryce Bayfield. So that was cool to see who was going to be locking in these spots for the A Main. This track would only take a smaller car count for the A Main, but nevertheless, it was going to be action packed, and it was. 30 laps we had, and it was just gangbusters. It was just hard out racing non-stop. It was quite cool to see. You could put the 18 cars on this track, and these guys are going to put on an absolute show, and it was great to watch. So night one went to Team South Australia, went to Bradley Vaughan in the S80, picking up the win ahead of the V93 of Travis Miller and the S11 of Tyson Martin. So hats off to those boys. They were able to enjoy their celebrations for a little bit, but then we had to jump on the road and we had to get night two saw us 200 kilometers west towards Borderline Speedway. So I believe everyone travelled during the night. No one stayed at Lang for after night one. So yeah, it was a beeline to seeing all the haulers making their way out. Either they went straight to Borderline, or a lot of guys will base themselves out of Warrnambool, and then they just travelled on the next morning. All right, so night two, again, insane racing. We've still got these girls and guys just getting ready to go. So this is night two. So this is where I remember being at the track early, and the spirits were still high. A lot of cars rolling out early, just getting maintenance done, washing cars, that sort of stuff. Everyone was in a very good mood. So I don't think fatigue had sort of hit in yet. I think everyone was still on cloud nine, because Lang was a very successful night. There was concerns about the whole tightness of the track and all that sort of stuff, but it was a successful night. Those guys down there, Jack Lee and all the crew, they have that track just dialed in nicely. As I said, it was a two-lane racetrack, so that's what you wanted. All right, so then we're at Borderline, and I've never been to Borderline before. When I got there, I was amazed. Like, that is an amazing facility. I don't want to knock anything, but I sit back and I think, man, look at these awesome speedways we have. And in this day and age, we had governments to build tracks which have nowhere near the character of what Borderline has. So it was great to be there. Now, they were running this night. We're going to be having some speed cars with us. And the track did look like it was going to start taking rubber, or did start hurting the tyres in the second round of heats. But the promoters, the track staff, they got on top of that. They went and tickled the track up, and again, gave us back a racetrack where you can run two lanes and get the job done when needed. It only slightly hurt tyres in that second round of heats. Apart from that, the tyre wear from the first night to the second night, everyone was very happy with it. I remember a lot of people hauling a lot of tyres, especially like the New South Wales guys. But no, they weren't really needing them, unless they're chasing stagger or what. But tyre wear was quite good. So the heat winners for night two was the V9 of Blaine Densley. It was good to see him. So, he got the win. The S56 of Tate Cowie. The VX50 of Luke Will. Now, Luke didn't do the first race. He sat that one out. However, I did see him at Lang, and he was assisting the club. But he raced nights 2, 3, and 4. So, next heat winner was also S44 of Daniel Evans. The NT1 of Blake Walsh. The V11 of Matthew Simmons. The VX62 of Brad Warren. The S86 of Kirby Hellier. The V1 of Mitchell Broom. The VX92 of Braden McKay. The VX89 of Christopher Temby. And the S96 of Shani Pitcher. So that round out our heat winners. Then we're rolling into one C main for tonight. And that C main was won by the S54 of Alan Saint. Alan, awesome guy. And really good to meet him on the road, and his dog buddy too. We had two B mains. B main 1 went to the V4 of Carly Walsh. And B main 2 went to the N41 of Jason Bates. Now, night 2 was going to be different to night 1, obviously. But night 2, it was Victoria all the way. the V62 of Brad Warren got the win. It was a very good win that he got there. A lot of people in the crowd and yeah, a lot of fans came down into the pits afterwards to congratulate him, which was awesome to see. But yeah, Brad Warren took out the win. The V11 of Matthew Simmons was second, with the V9 of Blaine Densley in third. So Victoria locked out the whole podium. Now, this night was probably the night where people hung around a bit, enjoyed each other's companies. Everyone told a bit of war stories, and yeah, well, I'm not going to say we weren't friends, but yeah, it was a pretty cool night. I did remember seeing a lot of the new guys on the series, some of these younger kids, sort of getting to work on their race cars and quickly trying to do some servicing on them while everyone else was sort of enjoying a beverage. And it was just cool to see that. It was a very nice atmosphere, and you definitely weren't rushed in any way, shape, or form. So it was, yeah, I really, really enjoyed, yeah, Borderline. I thought it was great, and I'm looking forward to going back there myself. But yeah, so hats off to everyone there. Now for night 3, we had to do 258 k's back over the Victorian border. We had to head to Simpson Speedway. Now Simpson is carrying a reputation about the amount of flies, and I'm going to tell you something. I wasn't ready for the mass amount of flies. As Tanya Walsh puts it, I was kung fu fighting all night long, and even nighttime. Everyone says, "Oh, by the time the sun goes down, they're gone." No, no, they weren't. They were still there, annoying you. So yeah, flies. Please, anyone never been to Simpson? You're going to go to Simpson, mate. Pack a net. Put one of those nets over your face. You're going to love it. But Simpson, never been there before. It's that odd shaped track. Um, Avocado shaped, egg shaped, whatever you want to call it. Uh, it's definitely shaped interesting, but I tell you what, it is insane. The tight end is just banked so much. It's still banked at the other end quite nicely. You could see people running too wide, all the rest. But when you come down to that tight, 3 and 4, yeah, it's like a velodrome. It's insane. Um, yeah, so by this stage, night 3, this is where the teams and drivers are starting to sort of show a bit of signs of being on the road. The ones who were sleeping in swags and whatnot, they weren't getting up as chirpy and as bouncy as they were before. But look, the drivers still put on a show. The heat wins went to the VX50 of Luke Wheel, the V70 of Aaron Lawrence, the V9 of Blaine Densley, the S44 of Daniel Evans, the V11 of Matthew Simmons, the VX89 of Christopher Temby, the VX50 of Luke Wheel again, the V44 of Tim Van Inigan, the NT1 of Blake Walsh, the NX26 of Brad McCarthy, the VX62 of Brad Warren, and the VX89 of Christopher Temby. Now, this was sort of shaping up the way the heats were going. We thought we were going to see an awesome battle, and we weren't going to be denied that. But yeah, we had to get through the C mains first. C main, one of them only, was won by the V76 of Luke Johnson, and B main 1 was won by the NX90 of Conor Moran, and B main 2 was won by the V1 of Mitchell Broom. By the time we came to the A main, the show we thought we were going to see, this awesome rundown of the VX89, just didn't happen, unfortunately. A broken fan belt put him to the infield and out of the race. Luke Wheel just proved too strong in the A main. So Luke got the win ahead of V9 of Blaine Densley, and third place was the V44 of Tim Van Ginnigan. Again, an all-Victorian podium. So this is sort of, as much as you couldn't do a State of Origin thing, I sort of keep an eye on who's wearing what, how. But yeah, the Victorians just really showed how dominant they were at Simpson, which was good to see. And I left Simpson very happy to leave there that night, and got back to Warrnambool. But man, what an awesome track! Like, just the way it was just conducted, the way they look after it, scratch it, prep it, all the rest. Hats off to everyone there at that track, because the whole staff, all of them so far, have been fantastic, and all of them were. So, but yeah, never been to Simpson. Definitely looking forward to going there shortly for the WoW series. and yeah, can't wait. So night 4, okay, it was a very quick trip for us. So it was only 75 k's west to Premier Speedway. Almost the holy grail of Australian open wheel racing we have in Speedway. The classic is there. You speak to a lot of the drivers, which track did they want to win at, and a lot of them said it was Warrnambool. They wanted to win at Warrnambool. You still had the guys who wanted to win at the Bull Rings, but yeah, a lot of guys wanted to win at Warrnambool. So never been there before. Rocked up, awesome place again to be. They were very accommodating for us with all the drivers we had because another class was put on, all the rest. We all got in there. Communication between the club and the drivers, I saw all that sort of transpire over social media. Excellent job there by those guys. It was really a fun place. I never been there before, and just having a super fan moment, just loving it. And I got to really catch up with a lot of those drivers and talk to them all. The heat winners went to the V11, Matthew Simmons, the VX73 of Jack Regan, the S86 of Kirby Hellier, the S11 of Tyson Martin, the V93 of Travis Miller, the V9 of Blaine Densley, the N16 of Andrew Sayer, the NX26 of Brad McCarthy, the V93 of Travis Miller again, and the VX62 of Brad Warren. But we had a B mains in this event, and B main 1 went to the VX89 of Christopher Temby, and B main 2 went to the S44 of Daniel Evans. So on the final night, you saw the VX62. He just did what he needed to do. He got out there and got going, and he was running those boards. And it was unfortunate. A few laps in there, he broke a couple of teeth off the steering box and just had no steering at all and had to park. I was gutted for him because Brad Warren, man, that guy puts on an absolute show. He gives it everything he's got every time he hops into that car. Like, we've spoken to him on the show before, and the way he speaks and the way he comes back to Wingless and he loves it now. It's really cool for us to have drivers like that in the sport. But yeah, he sort of said I was almost ready to start conserving because I built my lead up. I knew I built my lead, and unfortunately the car wasn't going to work. At the end, I mean, the race still went. Besides that, it relatively no problems. The racing was hard. It was fierce. A lot of overtaking, stacks of overtaking. We had Christopher Temby coming from the rear to the front, all the rest. Then he had problems. In the end, it was too good. S11 Tyson Martin just picked up the win ahead of S86 of Kirby Hellier and the S26 of Roland Furler. And this made the last night a full South Australian podium, which was fantastic to see. Just throw a bit of rivalry in there. But yeah, and I do want to say that on the night when the presentation was done, all was done, I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe, I don't know. Anyway, Tyson Martin was presented with the SummerSlam belt for winning the series, but the maths didn't add up. He took the belt. He's quite excited. You saw the surprise look on his face, and he's the whole team were so happy for it. And I remember seeing on the infield the V93 of Travis Miller. He finished 4th. He's on the infield. His crew was out there. His dad was out there. Family was out there. And I sort of went over and I put the camera in front of him to ask him how his race was. And he was absolutely, man, you could see him. He was exhausted. He gave it everything he had. But what he didn't do was stand there and badmouth anybody. He didn't go negative on anybody for not being awarded the belt. He didn't do none of that. He just, man, that kid, well, not so much a kid, but he raced his absolute heart out that night. And I remember thinking when I had the camera on him, I don't know if the results are right or whatnot, but man, this guy is just holding himself so well, and you can see the genuine, this exhaustion in his face. He gave those 4 nights everything he had, and didn't speak negative. And anyway, we got back to the pit area. We found out there was a mistake in the counting. The belt belonged to the V93 of Travis Miller to make him now two-time SummerSlam champion. And when we went down and spoke to him about it, that smile on his face, he was so happy. And in saying that, when we went and broke the news to the S11 of Tyson Martin in front of his partner and his team, they took it really well. And I'm just going to say, coming away from that meeting, meeting a lot of these guys who I don't normally get to associate with because I'm from a different state. Yeah, I've spoken to a few of these guys on the show, but seeing them in the moment, and like I did, I went and stuck a camera in live, by the way, in front of one of these drivers in the moment when a whole bunch of emotions are running through them, and the way they conducted themselves. For me personally, I got nothing but respect. Nothing but respect for these guys. Like, man, they could have gone so many different ways, and they didn't. And it just proves to me that, this wingless deal we've got here, we're putting on races. We're going green to checkers, no problems. Passing numerous times, 3 wide, no worries. Whatever you guys want, And just because we don't have a wing on our roof, or because we don't have a V8 under the hood, we're any less than what those guys who do have it. And when I go and watch I'm not trying to pick on anyone here, but I'm just trying to point out, when we go watch one of these other races, sometimes they take half an hour to do a 30-lap race. I mean, look at Sydney lately. Like, they had to stop for fuel, for crying out loud. Like, it's just, I just don't feel like the drivers get the respect or they just don't get the rewards that they should get, and the accolades, I guess. So Travis Miller, well done on getting that second belt. As much as Bianca, she's not sure where it's going to go, but I saw a photo. Here it is. Check it out. That's where Travis put it, in front of the wedding picture. But Travis Miller, Tyson Martin, Brad Warren, Christopher Tempe, like all these guys, awesome. Like, awesome dudes. Thank you so much for making my my weekend as good as it was. So that's what I have to say about that. All the partners who were involved in that SummerSlam, I remember driving home when we packed up our motorhome. We started heading back north to Sydney there, and my phone was just going off because the amount of people from New South Wales, Queensland, also here in Tasmania, want to come back in and get in on this deal. So, we did have a Tasmanian, Jeremy Smith. He flew the flag, and he put in a fantastic effort too. But so anyway, we're going to see what happens. There was a few guys there who really shone out to me, but all in all, I think everyone was a star. We did 4 nights. We didn't kill each other. We didn't want to wring each other's necks at the end of it, and everyone shook everyone's hand, and it was really cool. So again, thanks very much, Victorian Wingless, for having me, and for everyone else for putting up with me for those 4 nights, because I'm sure I'm not easy to get around with, and come up to you with a camera in your face. You have no idea what I'm going to say. So there we go. So over the weekend, we had 5 states racing. We had Queensland, who held their Queensland state title up at Kingaroy. Awesome to see up there. Their heat winners was the NX20 of Ian O'Toole, the Q1 of Scott Thompson, the Q80 of Liam Atkinson, the Q97 of Nick Potts, the A1 of Jacob Jolly, the Q48 of Casey O'Connell, the Q20 of Bruce Hill, the NX36 of Mitchell Randall, and the dash win ended up being the A1 of Jacob Jolly. Now, this is what changed a lot of things. So I'm sure I wasn't the only one sitting at home watching this, but wow, we had a new change of the crown. The state title holder up there, the Q1, or used to be Q1, normally Q8 as well, of Scott Thompson, an awesome guy, great guy from a great family there, love him to death. It just wasn't his night. Casey O'Connell in the Q48 won the state championship. Hats off to him. With the NX36 of Mitchell Randall in second. The Q80 of Liam Atkinson third. And the A1 of Jacob Jolly in fourth. And then the departing Q1, Scott Thompson in fifth. I looked forward to be speaking to Casey O'Connell shortly, the new Queensland one. Hats off to him. Well done to everybody. And I believe also a new track record, lap record was done by the Q80, Liam Atkinson. There's one thing the WOW Series has taught me is that Q80 is fast. So well done to Liam on that one. So hats off to everyone involved there. Queensland Wingless, another successful meeting. They're really pushing strong at the moment. So much love to those guys, and well done on a great meet. All right, and also I just want to say just a shout out as well, the Q5 of Zeth Cox. The young kid, he had a bad experience over the weekend. Video came out where all the team were all in there. The whole Queensland Wingless guys in there. They're all working on Zeth's Q5 machine, trying to get it right, get it ready to rock and roll. Mate, hope you're all good, hope you're okay, and I look forward to seeing you on the track soon. I've been keeping an eye on him because he is, at the end of the day, these young kids are starting to come through the field. So hopefully he's all good, and that Q5 is going to be ready to rock and roll at the next race meeting. It was just well done to everyone who got in there and got their hands dirty. And I'm sure the whole family loves it, and it was just good to see. So hats off to everyone with that. All right, for our second race of the weekend in Victoria, Avalon Raceway, Super Series. And, man, I tell you what, just these sheets that they keep bringing out, Victorian Wingless do with the little sup-regs and all the rest, I just love them. I think it's very easy to understand, easy to read, gives the competitors just their brief notes, what they need to do. I love it. I want to see more. I'd like to see all clubs sort of get involved. I know it's a bit of time consuming, but if we all get in there, it just helps grow our division more and more with strength to strength. So, hats off to them for Victorian Wingless for doing a great job like they always do. Now, heat winners. The heat winners went to the VX80 of Andrew Kuhn, the V9 of Blaine Densley, the V89 of Christopher Temby, the VX50 of Luke Wheel, the V9 of Blaine Densley again, the VX60 of Daryl Kuhn, the V11 of Matthew Simmons, and the V60 of Stephen Haitley. Yes, in that one, the V9, Blaine Densley picking up both heat wins. This kid is just going from strength to strength at the moment. Had some chats with his team on the SummerSlam series. I do believe they are looking for a bit of a posse entry for the WOW series when it goes down south. And all I can say is, oh God, we better watch out because this kid is packing. He's bringing some guns with him. Very, very fast, very smooth driver. The team have got their work sort of down pat. They know what they're doing. And as much as it was great to sort of talk to him down there at SummerSlam, when I was just doing the PR and the social media side of it, I don't know how I'm going to go against when we're against these guys because they are such a good team and they're real nice people too. Just awesome guys to hang with and chill with. So great to see him get that. Also, we saw the Kuhn father and son, Andrew and Daryl, picked up the heat wins each, which was awesome to see. But yes, that's pretty cool to see. So hats off to them. They had a B main 1, and that was won by the V70 of Aaron Lawrence. And B main 2 was won by the V7 of Nicholas Ryan. In the A main, you cannot take anything away from that V9, Blaine Densley. Just an absolute ripper job. He took the win ahead of the V93 of Travis Miller. Now, here we go talking about drivers and their form and all the rest. Travis Miller just picked up the SummerSlam the week before. Third place, V20 of Thomas McDonald. Thomas, this guy I quite like. I've seen him around for a fair bit. Tried to get him while I was doing the social media stuff, and I could only ever hold on to him a little bit here and there. Apart from that, he was always able to escape whenever I came around with the camera. So I'm going to catch up with you shortly, buddy. Don't you worry about that. It just goes to show a lot of these guys, it's just not luck. It's You got to be in it for the long haul, and that whole Miller family team, they know how to turn their car around, and hats off to them for getting inside that top three, because racing down in Victoria ain't no easy feat, so well done to them. All right, so for the third race of the weekend, this is huge. 3 races already. So this was in South Australia. It was at it was round 2 of the Moores Saw Sharpening Triple Crown at Murray Machining and Sheds, Murray Bridge Speedway. Try and say that 3 times. So it's a series they've got going on in South Australia with South Australian Wingless. Awesome. Love it. Also, the Moore Saw Sharpening is one of the sponsors on the S11, Tyson Martin's car. So obviously Normie. So yeah, it's good to see that series, and it's just going strength to strength. You see their PR work, their promotional stuff. It's just looking really good with the flags and stuff after heat wins. So hats off to you guys. It's looking good. Keep it up. Heat winners. So was the S11 of Tyson Martin, the S7 of Melissa Crouch, the S3 of Keki Phelan, the S66 of Sam Martin, the S33 of Lachlan Evans, the S11 of Tyson Martin again, the S26 of Ryland Furler, the S20 of Harley Alexander. So those rounding out your heat wins. You can obviously see what's happening there. We're seeing one car just keep going to the front there. The B main was won by S23 Jack McCarthy. Go the A main results. In first place was the S11 of Tyson Martin. S26 Roland Furler was in second, and the S23 of Jack McCarthy in third. Jack McCarthy, this guy is just a freak. God knows where he would have been if he started closer up the front of that A. I'm not trying to take anything away from Tyson Martin, because Tyson Martin, you've got to go look at what he's done lately. He won round 2 of the WOW Series. He won the Tolma race that they had. He's picked up a few races, one obviously at Premier Speedway. Now he's won this. At the moment, the S11's looking very hot. Very, very hot. Hats off to those guys. It was good to see them put on an excellent show there at Murray Bridge like they always do. And I look forward to seeing those guys shortly too, because we'll be catching up with them on the WOW Series now. Just into next month. So now we're going to go to our 4th race of the weekend. So this is the 4th race. So this is over in WA. It's Friday night at the Plex. I really love what these guys do over there, the way they sort of promote themselves and keep it up. And I've sort of been watching over the last few months, and they're doing a really good job over there. So I can't wait to catch up with those guys again. I need to talk to someone else from there, maybe Tommy Britton, but they're doing a great job of their marketing to get it out there, get it known, and that's what we need. So heat winners were the W76 of Blake Scarry, the W24 of Brandon Sharp, the NT7 of Tommy Britton, and the W84 of Darren Humphrey. And in the A main, taking out the 20-lap A main feature was the W84 of Darren Humphrey, with the W56 of Brendan Wedge in second, and the W24 of Brandon Sharp in third. So well done to those guys. Awesome to see the racing over in the West. All right, now we're going to go to our final race of the weekend. And it was to our good friends in Tasmania, the Tasmanian Wingless Club. So what they did, they ran their charity race, which Jeremy Smith sort of told us about a few weeks back. It was at Carrick Speedway, the venue for the showdown. It was going to be for round 2 of the Fluid Line North Carrick Track Championship and round 6 of the Webster Truck Statewide Series. So there was 2 championship rounds in this one. This year, the Wingless Club supported the Fairy Godmother charity, which I just think is an amazing concept. And when you take what they've done with this, along with those the teardrop flags that they put on the cars, so each driver is very recognisable from the fans when they come in the pit area. Mate, they're just doing everything they can to capture the fans in Speedway down in Tasmania. So hats off to those guys. Heat winners was the T10 of Luke Redpath, the T15 of Ricky Tarrant, and the T41 of Brad Whitchurch. So well done to those guys. Yeah, hats off to Luke as well because he won the feature race. So the T10, Luke Redpath won the feature race. In second place was the T41 of Brad Whitchurch, and in third place was the T4 of Chase Redpath. Now, this is the part that I love. So you got such a small club down there. They don't take no for an answer. They managed to raise over $3,000 for the Fairy Godmother charity, which I think is an absolutely amazing effort. Hats off to those guys. Thank you very much for setting the bar where I'd like to see other wingless clubs sort of go to. Come on, guys, it's not hard. We've got these race cars. If we can use them for anything to help share or help support others in need, I think it's only fair we do it. So that's a lot to take in. I know there's a fair bit of racing coming up shortly. I got this week in Sydney. Well, it'll be tonight. We've got the Wingless will be racing at Eastern Creek at Sydney International Speedway. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen there. But apart from that, guys, I thank you very much for tuning in. Give us send us a message or a comment what you want me to post next time. But apart from that, until then, stay safe, and I'll catch you at the track shortly. Thank you.